One of the more difficult challenges I used to help my clients with is when they had 2 to 3 more years to go until they could retire, and unfortunately, work was beginning to feel like a grind, and they'd come to me and say, "Hey, Azul, I'm just not sure I can make it. What can we do? What advice do you have for me to help me make it to the finish line?" And so in today's video, I want to share with you the top 4 areas that I would talk to them about and some of the ideas that I would share with them in the hopes that it helps you as well. And the first thing is thinking about how can we make this journey as enjoyable as possible for you. And the first thing, frankly, I was shocked by this, that many of my clients did not use all of their vacation. Work was a grind, but they weren't using all of the vacation that they were entitled to. Frankly, because here in the United States, for many of us, when we go on vacation, the work just piles up, and we know we're going to have to get back to that, and we're going to have to catch up. But it's important to get away. It's important to unplug. And if you're not using your vacation, that's the number one idea I have for you. And this is all under the category of making the journey more enjoyable. I've got 3 other areas I'm going to share. Another thing to make that journey um, more enjoyable is, you know what? Forget about that next promotion. Forget about that bonus. Forget about, that plum assignment that you've always wanted to get. If you're 2 to 3 years from retirement, this is about survival. This is about making it to the finish line, if it feels like a grind. If you really enjoy going to work, you may have the opposite issue later, which is, the just one more year syndrome, and I've got lots of videos on that. Okay, and so the next thing I would do is I would brainstorm with them. I'm going to share with you some things that I have found that have made the journey more enjoyable. But ask yourself, what could I do to make my time over the next 24, next 36 months at work more rewarding, more fulfilling, more enjoyable? Oftentimes there's personal dynamics that are taking place. It's not unusual for it to be between a supervisor or a boss and that person. For whatever reason, they feel underappreciated, or they feel their boss isn't treating them well. And that can make the journey long. It can be stressful. So it's an interpersonal thing. And just do the best you can, and you have done the best that you can to repair that as much as possible, because 24, 36 months is still a long time. But ask yourself, what could you do to repair any relationship that might be causing you stress? And then also, just with your work, the type of work that you're doing, the type of assignments, is there anything you could do to make it more enjoyable? Okay, another suggestion under make the journey more fun is, might it be possible to do a hybrid work schedule? Might it be possible for you to work 2 weeks in the office, 2 weeks away from the office, or 2 days a week from home and 3 days in the office, whatever it is? And could you combine that maybe with some vacation? One of the keys too is use this time to your advantage. There's a lot of times people retire, and then they start doing the mental work of being ready to retire, as opposed to hitting the ground running. So could you use this time so you can hit the ground running? Where are some what's on your bucket list? And if you don't have a bucket list, things that you want to do, there's a great book that I suggest you read. It's called Die with Zero. It's written by Bill Perkins. It talks about a life list, an age list, the types of things to think about doing while you still have the health and the vitality to do those things. So there's some things, um, walking the Camino de Santiago in Spain is something people do it of all ages, but it's probably going to be easier to do that in your 60s than it will be in your 80s. So whatever that is, for me, I learned to surf when I was in my 50s, and I'm glad I did. I also enjoy golf. I also enjoy fly fishing. Enjoy reading books. Those are all things I can do later as I age, and so I'm not spending much time there. Okay, is there some new training or education at work? Right now, AI is taken out. Are you taking off? Are you super interested in that? Would your company pay for some training that would give you new skills that you could bring into the job? Whatever it is, new training, new education, would your company help you with that? And maybe hobbies outside of work. When we retire, it's important to retire to something, and if you're looking at, hey, 2 to 3 more years, I don't know how I'm gonna make it. First off, you will make it. Um, but, one of the things we have to do is we have to retire to something. Doesn't mean you have to have something you wanna do for 30, 40, 50 hours a week, but boy, it sure is nice to have a hobby or 2, so could you cultivate that while you're waiting? And anything else you could do to plan that first 2 years of retirement, your go-go years. Hopefully, your go-go years are more like 5 or more years, but how much of that could you start planning now? Okay, speaking of planning, the second major area to help you with this is come up with a financial plan. Maybe you don't need to work another 2 or 3 years, and I don't know your situation, I can't comment on that. None of this is financial advice, but the way you know whether this trade-off of working another 2 or 3 years is worthwhile is by having a financial plan. The gold standard for that is to work with a financial advisor, and a good financial advisor should be able to help you with challenges like this. Unfortunately, financial advisors, most of us charge about 1% a year. I think it's money extremely well spent. I think it's a good investment, but mea culpa, that's what I did for over 20 years. I should share that I personally have a financial advisor as well. It's the old firm that I used to work at. Okay, so it's important to have a financial plan, whether you use an advisor. If you're not going to use an advisor, I urge you, do not use Google Sheets. Don't use Excel. It's too easy to forget something that's important. The two expenses people forget tend to be healthcare expenses that are likely going to be much higher than what many of us are anticipating. Fidelity says over our lifetime, it's about $165,000. Once we turn 65, for costs above and beyond Medicare. So we've got healthcare expenses, and the second expense many of us underestimate is taxes. So it's important to have a plan so that you know and you can incorporate things like that. Don't use Google Sheets. Don't use Excel. The software that I like is called Bolden. It used to be called New Retirement. It's very affordable. It's easy to use. It's very powerful. If you're going to sign up for Bolden, they do have a free trial. Do me a favor, use the link in the description of this video. You'll be supporting the channel. Okay, once you have a financial plan, then ask yourself, could I give myself permission maybe to spend more money outside of work to make the journey more enjoyable until you get to retire? And maybe you stop saving money altogether, depending on what the financial plan tells you. I can share with you one of the challenges you're going to have in retirement for most people is flexing that spending muscle and being comfortable with spending. So why not try that out now? And two other ideas under the category of other, the fourth segment, is test drive your new life as much as you can. If you think, you're gonna live on 80% of what you're making now, test it out, see what that feels like, and maybe do a mini retirement. Could you take 3/4 of your vacation all at one time? Could you combine that with working remotely the week before, the week after? So there's lots of great ideas. If you like this video, the YouTube algorithm says this is the next video of mine you should watch next. Thanks for watching this one.